Who would have thought McLaren would be the team to beat in 2025? After years of ups and downs, the Woking team has started the season with a strength we haven't seen in decades. With 2 consecutive victories, McLaren not only leads the Constructors' Championship, but is this just a streak or the beginning of a new era? To understand the magnitude of the change, it's enough to recall what happened in Bahrain in 2024. In that first Grand Prix of last season, McLaren finished more than 50 seconds behind Max Verstappen's Red Bull. That gap was not only technical but symbolic. It showed the distance between a team in the throes of an identity crisis and one operating with the confidence and precision of a champion. But McLaren didn't resign itself to this secondary role. On the contrary, they began a series of profound updates, first focused on the aerodynamic package, then on the integration of their wind tunnel, and finally on improving the correlation of data between the simulator and the track. All of this began to bear fruit in races like Singapore, where Lando Norris crossed the finish line with a lead of up to 30 seconds over his rivals, including Red Bull. That race marked a turning point. What's most relevant, however, isn't just the time McLaren gains on its competitors, but how it does it. In 2025, the MCL39 has not only proven to be fast, but also consistent, predictable, and kind to tires. It's a machine that allows its drivers to attack without fear, knowing that the car responds with stability in both fast and slow corners. This balance is the dream of any Formula One engineer, and it's exactly what Red Bull has lacked in the first races of the year. The 1 second per lap difference with respect to Red Bull isn't just a number. It's a symbol that McLaren has understood something that others haven't yet figured out. Some point to the rear suspension as one of the great secrets behind its performance. Others point to the efficiency of the diffuser and the new, more closed backside pod concept. But the truth is that the total combination of the technical package is working like a finely tuned orchestra. And when that happens in Formula One, the results soar. Furthermore, the technical team led by Andrea Stella has found a way to maintain that advantage without compromising reliability, a crucial aspect in the current context, where any retirement or failure can cost an entire race. This precision in execution is reminiscent of McLaren's best years, those days of Senna, Prost, and Häkkinen, but with a modern, renewed feel, adapted to the demands of the current regulations and the aerodynamic fight for every tenth of a second. In short, McLaren has stopped looking up to the leaders. Now they are the ones setting the pace, forcing Red Bull and Mercedes to respond. And if they maintain this line of development for the remainder of the year, we could be witnessing not only the rebirth of a historic team, but also the beginning of a new technical hegemony in modern Formula One. To talk about McLaren's success in this 2025 season without mentioning its drivers would be to tell only half the story. The qualitative leap forward for the MCL39 has been evident, yes, but that car wouldn't be leading the championship today if it weren't for the quality, commitment, and maturity demonstrated by its 2 regular drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. The synergy between the two has not only elevated the team's performance but has also made a tangible difference compared to other teams, where internal competitiveness or a lack of individual consistency are generating tensions and uneven results. Lando Norris is undoubtedly experiencing his best moments since his Formula One debut. After years where it seemed he was always missing a final tenth, a perfect final lap, or a strategy to back him up, in 2025 everything is working in his favor. His victory in Australia wasn't a fluke. It was confirmation of a driver who has reached absolute maturity. He knew how to handle the pressure of racing on a demanding track, kept his rivals at bay at all times, and crossed the finish line as a solid leader, not the survivor of a chaotic race. That victory was followed by a second-place finish in Shanghai, a race where he demonstrated his ability to adapt to different conditions and manage his tires with surgical intelligence. Today, Norris not only leads the Drivers' Championship, he leads a completely new project, a team, and a completely new narrative within McLaren. Oscar Piastri, for his part, has gone from being a promising prospect to becoming a constant threat to any rival. His first pole position in China and subsequent race victory not only made it clear that he's a fast driver, but that he can perform under pressure with a precision reminiscent of the great champions. The way he controlled the race, making key decisions at critical moments, surprised even the most skeptical. Piastri has shown that he's not just McLaren's future. He's already an essential part of its present. And what's most important is that, despite his recent success, he keeps his feet on the ground. In his statements prior to the Japanese Grand Prix, he was clear. They know the competition remains tight, that they can't relax for a second, and that every improvement can make the difference between winning or missing out on the podium. The relationship between the two drivers is another highlight. There are no public tensions, no internal wars or coded messages over the radio. Norris and Piastri compete, yes, but they also respect each other, provide feedback, and work with a harmony that few teams manage to achieve. This emotional and professional stability is proving to be one of McLaren's silent weapons, an intangible that allows them to focus all their energy on improving the car, fine-tuning strategies, and maximizing each training session and qualifying session. At a structural level, the team is operating with Swiss precision. Strategic decisions have been spot on at every race. From pit calls to car setup in variable conditions, to the overall understanding of each race weekend, McLaren is demonstrating that it has not only the car and drivers, but also the team management necessary to fight for a championship. Andrea Stella has consolidated an efficient, quiet, and focused work environment, something that translates into tangible results. The advantage they have displayed on the track, at times greater than 1 second per lap over Red Bull, speaks to technical mastery. But true dominance, the kind that can be sustained throughout an entire season, is built on mutual trust, on clarity of roles, on the balance between ambition and humility. And that's precisely what McLaren is building. A stable, competitive, and focused structure, with two drivers who are performing above 100% in every round. The 2025 Formula One season is witnessing the rise of a team that has successfully combined young talent, cutting-edge engineering, and calm leadership. And while other teams look for culprits, make desperate adjustments, or change drivers, McLaren simply keeps winning. And it does so with style, with control, and, above all, with a hunger for more. Suzuka isn't just another track on the Formula One calendar. It's one of the historic temples of motorsport. It's technical, fast, complex, and ruthless. It's the kind of circuit where mistakes aren't hidden, they're amplified. Where every setup decision, every strategic choice, and every inch of poorly trodden asphalt can cost not just a position, but an entire race. And it is precisely here that McLaren will face its first major test of the 2025 season. Because dominating in Australia and China is impressive, but conquering Suzuka is another story. This is where the real contenders are separated from those just having a good time. This circuit is a beast in every sense. From the legendary S's of the first sector, which demand pinpoint precision with every change of direction, to the infamous 130R, one of the fastest and most dangerous corners on the calendar. The Japanese track tests aerodynamic downforce, cornering efficiency, and above all, the car's stability under constant lateral pressure. And this is where McLaren can confirm whether its MCL39 is truly as balanced and powerful as it has demonstrated in the first two Grand Prix of the year. The importance of Suzuka goes beyond technical performance. It's also a race steeped in symbolism, especially given its recent history. Red Bull has dominated here in recent years with an almost insulting force. Max Verstappen made this track his personal stronghold, and the Austrian team built a narrative of invulnerability around Suzuka. Therefore, what happens this weekend will be more than a result. It will be a statement. If McLaren manages to win, it will have broken not just a streak, but a symbolic hegemony. It will be the equivalent of entering the champion's home and taking the crown from him in front of his own fans. Furthermore, there's an emotional component that plays a crucial role. Suzuka is unforgiving under pressure. It's the kind of track where mistakes tend to appear when you push the limits. But McLaren arrives with a combination of confidence and preparation that may be its greatest advantage. Both Norris and Piastri have expressed their admiration for the track. They know it, respect it, and are eager to prove that their achievements so far are no fluke. Both have arrived at the Japanese weekend after meticulous preparation, with time to recover physically and mentally, and with their minds set on one thing: winning. It cannot be ignored that this race could mark a turning point in the season. If McLaren leads again with authority, if it repeats the technical and strategic superiority it displayed in the first two rounds, it will become the team everyone will have to chase, no excuses. Suzuka is not just the third chapter of the championship. It is the chapter that could consolidate McLaren as the new technical and competitive benchmark in today's Formula One. Because when a team not only wins but does so in hostile territory on the favorite track of its strongest rival, then there's no turning back. It's here to stay. So what's at stake this weekend in Japan goes far beyond the 25 points of victory grants. What's at stake is momentum, the confidence of the paddock, the media's perception, and above all, the message sent to the rest of the field. McLaren has the opportunity to show that it's not just competitive again, but reborn as a true giant. And if it succeeds, then yes, we can talk about the beginning of a new era in Formula One. What McLaren is doing this season is not a fluke or a passing stroke of luck. It's the reflection of a project that has been carefully rebuilt from the ground up. It's the consequence of years of learning, of mistakes transformed into lessons, and of a technical and human structure that has finally found its balance. In just 3 Grands Prix, the British team has not only returned to the top, it has redefined the conversation about who truly leads Formula One in 2025. Today we saw how McLaren has gone from being a supporting player to becoming a protagonist. We analyzed how its technical leap, its aerodynamic mastery, and its impeccable tire management are setting the tone. We saw the meteoric rise of its drivers. Lando Norris, who leads the Drivers' Championship with astonishing maturity, and Oscar Piastri, who has broken all expectations with a solidity unbecoming of such a young driver. And we understood why Suzuka will be the great thermometer, the battlefield that will determine whether this McLaren is truly ready to dethrone a Red Bull that, until recently, seemed unbeatable. But beyond the numbers, the pole positions, and the victories, what's at stake is something deeper: the resurgence of a legacy. McLaren is not just any team. It's pure motorsport history. And what we're witnessing is the real possibility that that history is beginning a new golden chapter. One that's no longer about recalling the titles of Senna or Hakkinen, but about writing the present with names like Norris and Piastri. Formula One needs new heroes, it needs fresh rivalries, it needs someone to challenge the established dominance. And in 2025, that someone is McLaren. But the journey is just beginning. The season is long, the margins are minimal, and each race brings new challenges. The important thing now is to maintain the pace, keep developing, keep winning. Because if this team maintains the level shown so far, we could be talking not only about McLaren's return to the top, but also about the beginning of a new dynasty. So if you enjoyed this analysis, if you think McLaren can really change the game this year, subscribe and turn on your notifications. Because here we'll be closely following every step, every evolution, and every battle of this season that already promises to be historic.